Welcome to Teens Time with Chichi. Is another interesting episode. Very interesting, I must tell you. And remember, this show this season is all about topics that nobody wants to touch. Nobody wants to talk about. Everybody's saying, don't talk about it. But this season, we have to do justice. At least do something. Talk about them. Reorientate our youth, do justice to it. If not, yeah, do justice. Like, that's the word. That's the only word I want to understand, because I'm bringing experts in the studio to help me talk about some of these things. Today, well, we are talking about talking. That I've been using that word talking, but I'm a big because I know there's gonna be a backlash. Some parents are gonna call me after and say, Chichi, are you crazy? Why are you bringing this topic to live TV? But we need to talk about this. We are going to be discussing, should teenagers be allowed to get into, be taking contraceptives, family planning, because of the high rate of teenage pregnancy? I'm worried. I know the society, a lot of us, we are worried. A lot of parents are worried. I work with teenagers, and almost every day I get reports of teenagers, 13, 12, very young teenagers who get pregnant. The question is abstinence, the preaching, for a lot of us are conversing for abstinence, is it actually working? Or should we start thinking of other, options? Today in the studio, I have someone who is seasoned. She's been doing this on the field, and she's going to be here to educate us. But I want you to sit tight and don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, hello, my name is Raphael.
Hello, my name is Ezeberichi.
Should teenagers be introduced to family planning and contraceptives?
And I think yes, they should be introduced to family planning so they can know what to expect and what not.
I believe teenagers should be introduced to family planning. It is very, very important that they are taught about family planning, that they get to know stuffs about family planning. I wouldn't want any of my teenager friends to have 12 children. No, 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 no. That would be too much, and that would be so much on them.
But as for the aspect of contraceptives, I think it's quite dangerous because they might misuse it, and these drugs usually have side effects. So yes and no.
Then, about being introduced to contraceptive, I think that is very wrong. That is unhealthy, because these contraceptives, they have side effects. And then at the young age of 13, 14, 15, before they are even 18, they started using contraceptives to prevent them from teenage pregnancy. Before they get to 18, they must have had a whole bulk of a side effect on them because of the use of these contraceptives. So I think it's very dangerous to introduce teenagers to contraceptives. Teach them about family planning. Teach them about how to keep themselves, make themselves whole, and then they'll just be excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sticking around. This is still Teens Time with Chichi. And if you're just joining, this is Teens Time, where we all talk about things that affect teenagers. The parents are not left out. We all want to just have a wholesome family where everybody is happy, everybody's catered for, everybody is, nobody's left out, actually. That's the word. That's the summary of it. But it's all about teenagers. And I have someone in the studio today that is going to help me talk about something that is very controversial. Should teenage girls, should they be introduced into family planning? The high rate of teenage pregnancy in our society is becoming very alarming. And my question is, should we do something much more than we are doing now? Should we talk about other things other than abstinence? I preach abstinence. I preach, don't get me wrong, I preach abstinence, but should we start thinking of other options? Today in the studio, I have someone, a very beautiful lady in the studio. I think I love your glasses. So welcome to the studio. This is Teens Time with Chichi. Thank you for being here. IJ, please help me introduce yourself and what you do.
My name is Ijoma Solomon. I'm a team lead that works on sexual reproductive health and rights in Enugu State. Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. So I've already introduced the topic. What do you what do you have to say? Do you think is a crazy idea? Is even crazy to just think that we should introduce teenage girls into family planning, contraceptives, and all that? What do you think about it?
You know, the concept of SRHR,
Help me break it down. The concept of
sexual reproductive health and rights, has three concepts which deals with the mental, physical, and social aspect of an individual, which encourages reproductive growth. Now, when we talk about the social, we're trying to relate this to the way these kids relate to people outside. And we're not just talking about girls here, because when we talk about pregnancy or using contraceptives and all that, we basically narrow it down to the girls. In this part of the discussion, we are bringing in boys here because without boys, this pregnancy won't come up at first.
Sure.
So we're talking about the social state of these children or these young ladies, their physical well-being, because some might be physically okay but mentally imbalanced. So we're also bringing in the mental aspect of this talk here. So we'll go down to talking about why these girls at first try to why they get pregnant.
Okay.
We'll talk about the socioeconomic factor of their house, if they're well-to-do, what is obtainable in the house, are they poor? When they are poor, how do they cope? You know, the trend is every girl wants to be big, every girl wants to be fine, every girl wants to be among the leading girls, and some of these girls from not well-to-do families might not be able to cope. And at the end of the day, they get on rolling with their friends. That's when peer pressure comes in, and they give them a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of things, and these girls want to start behaving in this manner, and at the end of the day, it boils down to pregnancy. Okay, and secondly, we want to talk about early child marriage. This shouldn't be here, but as talking about pregnancy, teenage pregnancy, we have to bring it in because some traditions and culture encourage young marriage, and you see girls married at the age of 13, 12, and teenage pregnancy can't be ruled out. Okay, so when these girls get pregnant, what happens? What are the effects on the mother, on the child, even on the father, on the small boy that had gotten a girl pregnant? How does it feel? How does he relate after knowing he has a baby that he doesn't have anything to take care of this child? So how will he be able to face people out there? How will the mother be able to continue with her education? Some girls, statistics shows that 28% of girls that had teenage pregnancy were not able to finish school. Were able to finish school. So the remaining percentage,
which is the larger.
Yes, the bulk of percentage have not been able to enter the higher institution and finish. So when these girls get pregnant, you see that their dreams have been stopped, their aspiration has been stopped, their vision, the kind of girl they want to become tomorrow, it has all been halted. Now let's talk about the child in which this girl gives birth to. You find that the child might end up moving towards the mother's direction because
True, I've seen cases like that.
the child is giving birth into a family that it's not socioeconomically balanced, a poor family, and you find that at some point she starts tempting to follow mother's steps. Now, when this happens, what happens to the child having a father at home? The child has limited role models. The child doesn't have anyone to look up to. It's just the mom. And when these girls get pregnant, what actions did their mother take? What actions did their father take? What actions did the community take? That's where family planning comes in. When you talk about sexual reproductive health and rights, we talk about right to life. These girls, these boys, these children are entitled to live. It's their right. When you talk about right to life, you talk about right to proper, correct, and intelligent information and education. This is where the family planning comes in. Now, everyone talks about abstinence. To be realistic, abstinence has failed to an extent because we start having abstinence at a very young age, and you find that these girls are pregnant. So does it mean the abstinence is not working? That's the question.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you here. I want to know why it has failed. I'm actually curious. I work with teenagers, and every day I still preach abstinence, but somehow I agree it has failed. But what do you think is actually the main reason why it has failed?
Abstinence has failed because of a whole lot of reasons. But as I earlier said, these girls want to be like their fellow girls. They want to be big girls. Sometimes it boils down to their socioeconomic situation of the family. They might not have money. They have to Poverty. When you talk about poverty, these girls have to they have to find a means to survive.
Okay, IJ, I'm going to cut you short here. I am curious. Like I want to agree with you in some things you've said. You know, a lot of people, the economic situation in their homes and all that, but there are also people that have been able to make something out of their situation. Okay, you said abstinence has failed. Why do you think so? I'm not trying to play like the devil's advocate, but I just want to like balance it. Why do you think it has failed?
Abstinence has failed because the parents, the church, the community all want to link it back to the biblical aspect of being pure and chaste till you're married. That's why abstinence has failed. They don't give these children the right information. Why shouldn't you?
But the Bible, you know, like it's very clear. The Bible has to do its course. Like the church is preaching abstain. You know, so the church, the Bible, we can't add or remove. You know, but I agree with you. Like the, I know where you're trying to come in is the part of the parents. They failed in teaching their children sex education, especially early enough to I don't know if it is part of the things you wanted to say.
Yes. The parents have failed to teach the children sex education early, not just the girls, but the boys. At a very small age, at age 5, at age 6, what do you tell your children? Is it just abstain from sex, abstain from sex? Why should they abstain from sex? Give me an information that would give, like when my friend comes to tell me, why don't you think we should? And I have enough reason to say this is not the right thing to do. When you just keep on telling me about it being not being good, you're giving me the spiritual aspect of the whole thing, you're not giving me what I need to do. No. Tell me what teen pregnancy is all about. Tell me what it means to die while trying to have an abortion. Tell me the information I need to know as a young growing
So
child.
information is key,
Information
especially in
is
this generation.
Key. Yes, information is key. Education is key. That's why I was trying to say that abstinence to an extent has failed. I have earlier said you should give the children intelligent information, useful information that would make sense to them. You don't just talk about Christianity and all other religious things, and you don't get to tell them the harms of this early pregnancy. So while as they are not able to go ahead with abstaining, we have to look for an option B, a plan B. That's why I would always encourage education in school. Teach them about contraceptives, teach them about family planning. Teach these girls. Education is knowledge. Information is knowledge. It is power. If you teach them, you find that some of these mistakes they make at very critical stage of their life can be curbed.
12 teenagers, 1 house, 3 months, 1 winner. Teens Time Exchange coming soon. Follow at 19 Chichi on social media platform. For sponsorship details, send an email to chichiteens@yahoo.com.
Okay, like someone argued recently when I talked about it on radio, and the person argued and said, the moment you inform them or you give them information about some of those things, you have empowered them. For you know, that's the angle a parent is coming in, and she said, if you tell this girl, okay, you can take this pill after intercourse, or you can do this, it's going to empower them to say, okay, I can actually manage my sexual life. You know, so what do you think about that? Are we not trying to empower them to say, okay, you can actually go all out and do your thing?
It's very simple. If mommy cannot tell her that this is the pill to use after stuff like this, her friend will tell her. And you know when she does what her friend does?
I'm a mother, and I'm thinking my baby girl, I just sit down and I tell her, Amara, if you ever try to have sex, you take this. Am I not trying to tell her, okay, you can go ahead and just do it and take the pills?
But this is where proper training comes in.
Okay.
As a mom, you've trained your child in the way you want her to go. This is extra information you're giving to your child to avoid mistakes.
Okay, extra information, just inform them in case. And also say, okay, and I like what you said earlier. You mentioned, tell them the dangers of this. You bring the pros and the cons. Bring in, okay, you want to have a boyfriend, you want to have intercourse. Okay, this is the consequences. You paint it clear to them. You are going to do this. The chances of you getting pregnant, and if you try abortion, the chances that you're going to lose your womb or lose your life. These things are there. So I think it's from what you said, we have to make it very clear, glaringly clear to them that all our actions, they have the consequences coming with it. Am I correct? Very well. Okay. I also want to ask, when the teenagers are, I've seen situations where some pills or some contraceptives, they work against. After having 4 kids, I try to do, family planning. How can they be informed to say, okay, some of these things could have adverse effects on their bodies? How can we bring in that one?
When it comes to, I said, give them intelligent information. Tell them that it's not just running up and down and having sex and falling back to contraceptives. There are instructions written on this contraceptive. This is how to take it, this is how to take it. Misguided information can lead you into having very serious problems. Contraceptives are just there as a standby option if things go wrong. It doesn't mean that anything you do, you run back to contraceptive, because they have their adverse effects. So as a mother, you're not to encourage a child to use contraceptive. It's just part of sex education. As a teacher, you're not to encourage your students to use contraceptives, both the boys and the girls. It's boys, and I mean condoms. It's not talking too much. It's education. Okay. These are useful information. So when you're telling them about these contraceptives, you should tell them that there are very adverse effects pertaining to this contraceptive they want to take, and give it to them about their wombs lining, getting weak and all that. There are a whole lot of it on the internet. They can read, they can Google it. You can show it to them, give them books to read, intelligent books to read about it. And if you do all these things, at the end of the day, I don't see why a child will keep running up to use contraceptives. I don't see why an intelligent child won't just stick to the abstinence option that was first initial plan.
Okay, I agree with you. You just mentioned intelligence, but we have a lot of these intelligent teenagers that, I don't know, I don't want to use a very negative word, but they just go out to do it. And I believe, like you mentioned earlier, the pressure is there. When they say, my parents don't have money, so I have to fall back to uncles giving me and all that. But the thing is, the information is saturated, it's out there. What keeps making our young people to say, they don't want to listen? What is that thing? Because I want a parent that is listening to know how to come in and help their kids. What is that one thing that we can do to say, okay, this is the way to get their attention and say, you are young, so I want you to advise us from the angle of a young person. How can we get their attention to tell them these things have adverse effects?
I'm this kind of person that I love watching things. I love watching movies. You could play it out in movies. You can take it to the schools, talk to these children. You can make an awareness. Give them this information in a way they could buy it. Information is information, but they are very useful information. I could hear something now and the next second I'm letting it go. But there is a way you present your information. For me, I love movies, so if I could see something in a movie, I'm like, seriously, that has entered my head. It's about these children. How is the best way to get to them? How is the best way to communicate to them? How is the best way to lay this information to them? Is it by coming to school to teach them the adverse effects of contraceptives, though it's an option in family planning? Is it acting it out in the movie? Is it getting an intelligent book for them to read? Is it moms talking to their children as a woman that has been there before? There are a whole lot of ways to go about this. It's just what pattern, what way works for this child.
Okay. IG, I want you to look into the camera and advise our parents. For me, I believe the angle of sexual education coming from the parents, we have not done enough. What's your advice to parents?
Sorry, I have this story. I'm from a family where we're 5 girls, and it seems like the word sex is not to be mentioned at home because we are from a Christian family and we shouldn't mention sex at home. This is the reason why children go out there and make inappropriate choices. When you call your child at age 5, call your child at age 6, age 7, age 10, and talk to this child, tell this child about sex, tell this child this is what you have to gain, this is what you have to lose. And as a teenager having sex, I don't really see what you have to gain. Weigh your pros and cons in front of this child. Tell this child that this is sex, this is the adverse effect. You might get pregnant and stop school. You might try to abort this baby and die in the process. Mothers, fathers talk to your son, because if there are no boys to impregnate these girls, then they shouldn't be teenage pregnancy. Sure. Talk to your son. If it means introducing condoms to them, tell them what is used for. Talk to them. Mothers, talk to your girls. If the girls are informed and the boys are informed, you find that the prevalence of teenage pregnancy will be curbed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to agree with you. Almost every organization, you guys are the girls, the girl foundation, the girl generation. Almost everybody is tending towards talking to the girls. Everybody is talking to the girls and girls. Who is talking to our boys? I have 3 boys. Sometimes I wonder, I get scared because everybody is focusing on the girls. But somebody has to step up and talk to the boys. I think it's something, I don't know, if you are watching me and you want to do that, please hit me up. I'm looking for people that will partner with and we talk to our boys. We can't keep training the girls to be homely, to be wife material, be this. And then the men are all there, I don't want to use the bad word, but almost messing up their heads and then try to mess up our girls. We need people that would talk to our boys. I mean, start talking to them as teenagers. There are so many issues, even the issue of sex, sexual perversion and all that. We can correct some of the mayhem, some of the mistakes that are going wrong. I believe some of our young boys are just neglected. Let me use the word, they are neglected. You believe he's a boy, so you don't need to, you just go and watch TV. Don't enter the kitchen, don't do this. And the girls are getting all the talk. Don't allow the man to come close to you. You should tell the boys, don't allow any woman to come close to you too. Hello? Yes, that's the truth. We need to, so parents, I'm actually talking to you guys now. I talk to my boys every single day. The oldest is going to be 10 in August. And I call them, we talk about everything, almost everything. We need to do that. Sex education should be done every single day. I mean, you could be bathing there, and I'm talking to people that even have toddlers. Somebody is saying, okay, I can't allow my young children to listen to. You need to allow them to learn from some of these things. Let them be informed. If they are well informed, they would know better. If they are not, the social media is going to inform them. The TV is going to inform them. The music videos, they will shake their bum bum in front of your children. They will watch it. And they will get curious and they will ask their friends. And just like you said, if your parents are not talking about it, 5 girls, are you kidding me? You guys are going to get the information from somewhere else. So thank you so much for being here. What's your final words to the teenage girls watching, that are telling you, sis, it's not easy to abstain? And they are saying, yes, they are helping you because you have told them to use contraceptives. What's your advice to them?
For the young girls out there, yes, I said you could use contraceptives, but abstinence is the key. For you to come out to be that woman you want to be tomorrow, that smart, intelligent, strong-willed woman, leave premarital sex to avoid teenage pregnancy and come out, work, find what makes you happy, find what keeps you going, go into it, develop yourself, and come out to be a better version of yourself. Thank you very much. Sex is not it. Contraceptives is just an option. That doesn't mean you should go in having sex and using contraceptives. Thank you very much.
12 teenagers, 1 house, 3 months, 1 year. Teens Time Exchange, coming soon. Follow at 19 Chichi on social media platform. For sponsorship details, send an email to chichiteens@yahoo.com.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. It's been an interesting show with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things. Parents, I hope you're not going to crucify me. Trust me, I am here for you. Like I said, this season is all about we talking about certain things that we shy away from. We need to do more, parents. We need to do more talking with our kids. Let's know what they are dealing with. A lot of our kids. I mean, a 15-year-old girl told me she has done 3 abortions. 3. I almost fainted when I heard that. 15. Done 3 abortions. Parents, we need to wake up and do more. Don't tell me, don't vouch for that child that is looking at you. They cannot be vouched. And I'm not saying we have terrible kids, but we need to do more. And teenagers, like you said, like she said, IJ said, there is more to your life. There's so much you can be for yourself. If you allow teenage pregnancy and some of these things to deter you or to prevent you from living full, going all out to live your life, it's going to, one way or the other, affect you psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise. I want to encourage you, please, try abstinence. That's the best way to live. Try abstinence. Okay, thank you. I know you've learned a lot. I'm going to put, IJ's details online so that you can also advise them. Please advise them at abstinence. Please, because I know some of them are going to ask you, what are the pills to take? Do not give them that information. Go to your doctor and get the information. Until we come your way next time, You can be the best you can be. You can be anything you want to be. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a pharmacist, whatever you want to be, you can be. You can even be the best version of Auntie Chichi, a journalist, a presenter. But trust me, you have to believe in yourself to do that. Until I come your way next time, you are the best. Hit me up. Bye.